Good afternoon, everyone. This is Mitch, and welcome to episode 17 of the Break-Thru Active podcast. I am here with Jamie once again. How are you on this lovely Sunday afternoon, Jamie?
Good, thank you. It is June 14, one day after we opened it yesterday. So Saturday morning, June 13, gyms across New South Wales opened, and we ran some sessions out at Adamstown and our brand new gym, Cardiff, which was phenomenal.
Absolutely, and we just wanted to jump on here today and just do a quick podcast to discuss yesterday in a little more detail and how great it was just to have everyone back at our gym at Adamstown after obviously the last couple of months off, and then also the first session for a lot of our members here at the new gym at Cardiff. And then after we talk about that, we did want to also just touch on briefly a few of the main things that we learnt through this COVID period in the last 3 months and some of the big takeaways that we have learnt about our business and about ourselves, after the last 3 months.
I've got a question for you. So March 22, when Scott from marketing said we had to close.
Yep, I remember.
What was your initial thought?
I remember being just devastated, to be completely honest. Obviously, I didn't know exactly what that meant or what that involved, but up until that point, we'd had conversations the week leading up to that. There was a few rumblings about things closing down, and I remember us having a conversation that there would have to be a policeman at our front door not allowing us to be able to go in to train, and obviously that changed pretty quickly, and I remember just being extremely devastated, and I think we had a very long phone call that night about everything, but I think the uncertainty of what that meant for us was something that was really hard on me.
Well, I think that I was telling anyone that would listen that week that there's no way we're going to get shut down. Otherwise, they have to shut down the country because they're not worried about our little gym at Cardiff or Adamstown. And that was my whole thought. I thought the economy, it cannot survive it.
Well, not only that, but up until
it hadn't happened.
That's what I was about to say. Up until that point, at least in our lifetime, there's never been a period where the government have said, hey, you have to close for this reason.
1917, no
exactly.
gyms.
And I mean...
Spanish flu.
Yeah, and obviously at the start of the year, there was bushfires and there's been natural disasters, in different countries and things where businesses and things had to shut down, but never anything like this. So it was just a complete novel circumstance that we were facing along with everyone else who were facing it as well. But like I just said earlier, I think just the uncertainty of knowing how long it was going to last. And it wasn't too long after that we had heard that it could potentially last for 6 months.
Yeah.
And that was really difficult for us to take because we were fast forwarding our clocks through to the end of September and thinking, how the hell are we going to last this long without being able to operate? But
my initial reaction was who cares? My initial reaction was that there's going to be a small business right, as in don't tell us what to do. And not only for us, but you have no idea what the cafe owner on Derby Street with 3 kids who's got a mortgage, what is he going to do? Yeah. And you're going to tell that person that, hey, you cannot sell coffee, you cannot sell bacon and egg rolls, you cannot provide for your family. That's so hard to cop.
Yeah, exactly.
It's hard for us to cop.
Exactly. And at that point, it was almost like there was going to be like a revolt, or there was going to be just people absolutely refusing. And I think once the severity of the situation got a little more serious and people started to take it on board, and once we closed, and obviously all other businesses, pretty much had to close as well unless it was essential, it was really just the reality kicking in that we may be like this for a little while. And then it wasn't too long after that we had to put a plan into action of what was going to happen next. We couldn't just sit on our hands and wallow in our own self-pity, but having a plan moving forward. And that's when we started with our, obviously, videos for the home workouts and had a plan around that where we'd meet every day and make videos. And we started to have a plan about talking with the members and discussing how we're going to help them moving forward to make sure that their health and fitness doesn't drop off. But I think, to our credit, we did pivot quite quickly there. Yeah, it would have been very, very easy just to do nothing for a while until we really had to. But it was within a couple of hours of that Monday, the 23rd, that we had a plan for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, it was like, but by midday, we had Brody, Ryan, Steve come here, and we developed a plan. Steve, like, not in detail, but Steve took care of Walls End. I took care of Cardiff. Brody took care of Warners Bay, Mitch Adamstown, Ryan and Curry. And they did a great job.
Yeah,
they really did.
And I think having some structure to our day definitely helped as well. We had a lot of members reach out to us, ask how we were doing and how we were holding up. And I think if we didn't have that structure of meeting here at the gym and shooting videos and organising what we were going to do for the week and reaching out to members, the days would have just moulded into each other and the weeks would have moulded into each other, and we probably would have had a really hard time getting through it all. But, I think we did the best with the situation that we were in, and now obviously it is 12 weeks later to the day, and we are able to open back up. So originally with the suggestion being that it could possibly be 6 months, which is 26 weeks, to be back in business and back open in less than half that time, that we're pretty happy to be able to be moving forward. And I would have never thought that we'd be considering ourselves lucky after being forced to close down for 12 weeks. But I think perspective is a fantastic thing, and knowing that it could have been a lot worse, and obviously it could have been worse in terms of people's health being compromised, or people we know, or family members catching the disease. It could have been a lot worse, so we're fortunate.
My auntie had it. My auntie Jenny and Uncle Gary, they were actually on that Ruby Princess. They live in Bankstown, so you can go blame them for spreading the virus around Australia.
They're part of the problem.
I think
cruise lovers.
I think where that perspective is good is this was really hard. Like, it really was challenging. And we were doing less work than ever physically, but just emotionally, it's the first time, I think, since we started that business that it was out of our control. As in, we dictate where we went, we dictate the timetable, we dictate the program. We made every decision.
And that's something we've always spoke about, where we can only worry about and only manage the things that we can control. When you look at things like the weather, I mean, there's no way you can control the weather. You can't control or manage that at all. And the same situation it was for this. We had absolutely no way that we could control us being inside our gyms and training people physically. So that was really difficult for us to overcome. And obviously we had a plan, and we started to move forward with that plan and strategy straight away. But like Jamie just mentioned, not having the control of running your own business. And I think that's something that, all business owners do enjoy and they need, is have that control over their business. It's part of the reason why they don't work for anyone to start with. And that was something that was really challenging for us. And I think we were able to take away a lot from that, knowing that we can push through and survive, periods like that when perhaps, there are things out of our control.
And it was just, it was hard. It was just a really challenging time. And then I thought, I guess what I'm most grateful for is I realised just how much that I actually love being in that group environment. After 5 years of running sessions, it's still the favourite part of my day.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. And, when you do it day in, day out, like we have for so many years, and like anyone listening, when you look at, your job and, what it is that you do day in, day out, sometimes it can just become like another day. And like I said before, the days and weeks and months can mold into each other. But having a bit of a break from that forcefully, did put it into perspective that we really do enjoy what we do. We love being around people. We love training people. We love helping people. We love that group dynamic and that, the group sessions bring, and being around people for the majority of the day. And I think initially that was definitely hard, not being around people, every day or multiple times a day. So it did definitely remind me that I am in the right position, and I love training people in group settings, and something that I will never take for granted moving forward.
I also learned too that this is probably the biggest lesson I took, is that this is not a part-time thing for Mitch and I. This is not, we're going to do it till we're 35. This is our life. I will do this until I retire. And I think I speak for both of us that if we didn't love it that much, if we didn't love health and fitness and weren't passionate about our own health and fitness and others, we would have thrown in the towel. Because businesses will give up mentally before financially or emotionally. I guess mentally, emotionally, same thing. They'll give up because it's so hard. And if you don't love it, then why would you continue?
Yeah, I think for us to be able to push through this period and now, you know, we've been talking about it the whole time, you know, get through the other side, and we are finally there. And I think if we're able to get through a situation like this, then we really will be able to get through anything. So it gave us a lot of belief and a lot of confidence that we are in the right industry, we're running the right type of business, and we really love what we do. And the other thing for me that I learned was just how fantastic our members are. You know, having such a great group of people that were able to support us through this period. I mean, financially support us with keeping their memberships, as well as just emotionally reaching out to us. Like I mentioned before, I had just about every other person, you know, send me a message or reply to one of my messages and ask me how I'm doing and how things are, and if I'm doing all right, and asked about, you know, Jamie and Steve and Brody and Ryan as well. So just having that sort of support, you know, it was really heartwarming for me, and it really, again, put it in perspective how fortunate we are to have such a great group of members and have such a great network around us.
Yeah, and I think being 30-year-old males, we're not the best at showing our emotions. And we always try and, I guess, project strength. We never show any weakness ever, but it was weeks and weeks at a time that were just really difficult. And as Mitch said, without the members, we would not be here right now. And we'll move on. That's period, point blank, to we wouldn't be here.
No, I completely agree. And before we move on to the classes yesterday and the reopening, you know, there will be, unfortunately, be a lot of businesses that haven't made it through this period, or maybe they have and they will start and they won't last very long. And I think a big part of that is just not having that loyal base of members or customers or clients, however you want to look at it, whatever type of business you have that are able to support them through some of these harder times. And moving on to yesterday, I think that's a good segue just to really highlight how fantastic it was, you know, even for us, having people back inside the gym and training people and having those conversations with people and pushing them through a workout, and really just getting back to what we love doing and having people in that group and working out, having a great time. You know, we all hung around afterwards and had a bite to eat and a coffee and just caught up, shared stories over the last few months and spoke about, you know, everything that's going to be happening moving forward. So it was just a wonderful morning and something that really put me in such a great mood for the whole weekend, and I've been running off that high through to right now, Sunday afternoon, and it's going to run into next week, where we are getting our schedule back up and running and it's full flight. So absolutely chomping at the bit to get back into it, and we'll be jumping out of bed at 4:15 in the morning.
And home workouts and Zooms, they get the job done. They're home brand wheat biscuits, as in they're carbohydrates. You can have them for breakfast.
And we're sanitarian.
But they're not very good. But in person, in the group, with a trainer, it is sanitarium, wheat bix.
I used to have wheat biscuits.
Yeah, my dad was cheap too. It worked out to be about 16 cents cheaper per biscuit. I'd have 4, so he was cutting me short 64 cents for breakfast. Disgraceful.
And they did the job, man. They filled you up, and
yeah, but it's
just not breakfast.
It's just not the same. It really isn't. And just the from walking in the door to stretching to getting around the whiteboard, social distancing, to explaining the workout, to getting stuck in, and then looking at the clock, and you've got your friends to your left, your friends to the right, and you all push through and finish together. What a feeling. And
I think that it really shows that at least our network and probably most people, they need that human interaction. You know, even, you know, in more recent times when pubs and clubs and restaurants and cafes have started to reopen, the experience of going out for dinner and being inside and sitting at the table, having a waiter or waitress coming to serve you and having other people around you, having some music on, the experience of that is so much different than driving up and getting takeaway and eating at home in front of the TV. The meals might be the exact same, but the experience is completely different. So we have really found that we missed the interaction, you know, obviously the daily, multiple times a day interaction with all of you guys, and we feel as though that, you know, everyone that we've spoke to has been with the same belief that just having those people around you and adding to that the experience of working out and getting healthier and having a great time it just isn't really possible in Zooms or, when you're doing the workouts by yourself at home in your garage. So it again just highlighted how important it is to be in that supportive group, to be in that supportive network of people who are on the same journey that you are, and you get to see multiple times a week. I think it really, again, puts it in perspective how great it is.
I couldn't have said it better myself. So you've planned Mitch is our programmer. He's written all the workouts up. He's given them certain names. So explain that.
Yeah, so had a bit of spare time over the last couple of months, as we just discussed. So I wanted to, I put a lot of thought into obviously all the home workouts and everything we were doing, and I had the idea of naming all of our workouts after something that has a Newcastle theme. And the idea behind that was nothing more than just I thought it would be fun and a cool way just to keep the program local and have a bit of a memory of certain workouts based off the name, and you might remember certain ones, but they're all going to be named after, whether it be a cafe or a restaurant or a beach or a suburb or a winery or a personality from Newcastle. Or a different range of things that I kind of listed out, and they all have their special theme to it. And I've designed 50 of them. And the idea behind that is we will cycle through those 50, not necessarily one after another and the same ones, every 50 days, but we will be able to revisit them every couple of months, and with the software that we're going to be using, Wodify, you'll be able to actually see how you did with the workout previously, and then be able to see what your time or your result is from the workout a couple of months down the track.
Is the acid bath in there?
Acid bath isn't in there. That's
the acid bath was this ridiculous workout done at the CrossFit Games, and it was just
not quite acid bath.
Acid bath.
But
is Fran the other one too? Fran?
There's quite a few of them.
Quite a few of them.
But no, these are a little more not quite as vomit worthy. But the whole idea is to compare your own times and your own results to your own ones previously. You're not comparing it to anyone else, but again, being able to check your progress and see that you are getting fitter and stronger and improving in that respect. It's a topic we've spoke about in great detail before, about having a metric to be able to use other than just looking down at the scales. So we feel as though having these workouts that are all named is a cool way to, like I said, support the local community, and then also a good way for us to be able to track progress and track results.
Now we do have some new people starting tomorrow, which is nice. So members, if you see them in there, remember I don't have to say it, you guys are great, but remember your first workout. Yeah, they've been in isolation, they've been at home, get around them.
Yeah, and they'll be even more nervous than some of you guys are who are restarting. So although we can't high five and shake hands, we'll make sure we introduce new people to the group, make them feel welcome.
COVID elbows ruled out?
I haven't been doing COVID elbows.
I've been doing COVID elbows since day one, yeah.
Yeah, I was doing them initially, but I've kind of just thumbs up or peace sign or something.
And then you got the foot 5?
Yeah, I haven't done that either. Up to you, mate. You can run your own shit. But no, we'll be introducing all the new people, and like always, they'll feel welcome and excited to have them in here, and also excited to have you guys back who weren't able to make it in on Saturday, and have your first session back with us. It's going to be a fantastic day, and we'll make sure we're in bed nice and early tonight, so we get enough of our beauty sleep, so we're not grumpy in the morning. Well, Jamie might be, because he apparently always is, but yeah. I'll be lively as always, and ready to roll. Our first session, 5:15. All
right, let's wrap it up there. We're going to get these gyms ready for tomorrow. All right, guys, thank you for listening. This is our 17th podcast. We've made 17 of these, of course. We've made 120 home workouts. Mitch has wrote 50 different workouts for our actives. We've been busy, we've been productive, but we are so excited for tomorrow.
Yep, that's right. And like I said, we're thoroughly looking forward to having everyone back tomorrow. So if you are training in the morning, get in bed nice and early tonight, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Thanks for listening. Oh, one last thing. Now we're back in person. People are coming to see us. We're going to start interviewing members regularly. We want to share your story as opposed to just listening to us go back and forth, which I'm excited for. All right.
Okay.
Have a great day.
Thanks, guys.